Alp, a very good morning to you. What's going on here? The boats keep coming. There doesn't seem to be any deterrent. When's this going to end?
What a very good question, Richard. Of course they're going to continue coming. They're going to continue coming because it works. People get here, they set foot on British soil, and they stay forever. While they can do that, and traffickers can make pots of money getting them here, why would it stop? It won't stop. If we eventually get the Rwanda arrangements off the ground, that will help.
Do you really think so, Alp? I mean,
stop.
Yeah, so the government...
It won't stop people coming, Richard. It won't. That's the whole point.
You think it'll help?
On its own.
Yeah. So they say that it wouldn't start until... They're looking at January at the very earliest now for the earliest flights if it gets through the Supreme Court. But if there's only a few hundred, is that really going to be a deterrent, or is it just sort of, frankly, just sort of creating noise?
Creating noise, I think, is a good way of putting it. I think it's a way of giving the impression that you're being active, you're taking action and being dynamic, when in fact you're doing very little. The only way that people will be dissuaded from coming is if once they get here, they are detained, dealt with quickly and removed, either back to their country of origin or to Rwanda or to other Rwandas, frankly. I think we should be looking at making other arrangements where we can send people to safe third countries. We should also be pressing the EU to get their act together, because so many of these people who end up on our shores make their way through any number of safe countries, ending up in France, the safest country of all, and then coming over here without our being able to send them back. So
we've got the illegal migration bill, which is sort of going through the Houses of Parliament at the moment. The Lords and the Commons are playing ping pong. But if they don't get this sorted in the next 4 days, then this migration bill will fall. Do you think it'll get through the Lords, or actually is it going to be delayed to the point where the whole thing falls and they have to start again?
I think it will get through. The point is the one you made at the outset, really. When will it become operational? I don't think it will become operational in any time that would have any impact, any significant impact on the numbers coming. And even, frankly, on its own, were we to implement the Rwanda arrangement, as I say, that will not stop it. The pressures and the numbers are such that they will continue to come. It's as straightforward as that.
So
Richard, I think I said on your program when this bill first set out in the Commons and the government said what it was going to do, that the Lords would do its utmost to decimate it. So the government really should have taken all this into account rather than pretending that they are actually being taking action when they're not.
Well, of course, there are senior members of the Tory party who've been speaking against this bill, and in my view, don't seem to understand. But you talk about the numbers. There's now an article just coming out how thousands of British families are being left homeless and having to be put up in hotels because there aren't enough homes in that particular area, that borough, that district. Because there are so many homes being taken up by the asylum seekers, by the migrants. So this is having an impact in just multiple ways on some of the most needy and vulnerable British families.
Absolutely. In fact, if you read that article, I'm quoted as saying that it's a disgrace and it's about time that the government started to taking the interests and putting the interests of its own people, the people who are elected into Parliament first, rather than those who are breaking into the country. That is wrong, and a lot of people feel very strongly about it.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So there's a contractor called Clear Springs, reported in this article, that apparently gets an introduction fee from the Home Office of up to £2,000 per property when contracts are signed between the Home Office and the private landlord. So it's not surprising that private landlord is going to say, well, there's this introduction fee, and then the landlord is getting sort of hundreds of pounds more rent every single month than the local authorities are paying for families.
Nice work if you can get it. Well done, Clear Springs. I think, frankly, that this is an absolute nonsense. Millions, billions of pounds being spent unnecessarily, all because this government failed time and time again to do anything that would stem the tide, stem the flow of people coming to this country. That's what it's about. It's the failure of the government that has brought us to this. And I hope that come the next general election that people will bear this in mind when they cast their vote. Richard, I started a petition a few weeks ago. It's had thousands and thousands of signatures already. If your listeners will go on to cutimmigration.co.uk and sign up, it will help send an even stronger message to the government that people have had enough.
There you are. That is a plug for Alp's petition, folks. Listen to that. Say that out again, Alp. The how to get there. Cut Immigration.
It's cutimmigration.co.uk. Cut Immigration, all one word.
Cutimmigration.co.uk. There is the number. That is Alp Mehmet, the chairman of Migration Watch. That website address will be on the screen there, and we will try and get that out on the socials as well. Thank you very much, Alp, for the latest.